without Rashi, it's impossible to understand the Gemara.
The original article.
Right? So it's impossible to understand. So since Rashi is alive, all the Torah that's been learned, and the reason why people are able to be, everything's great to Rashi. Halacha, at one time the only way a person knew halacha, he had to be a Rav, who was really proficient in all areas of Torah. And he had a question, he had to ask the rabbi. As a result of most people, they actually violated it. Inadvertently, they just didn't know. Because there is a Mishna Berura, what he did here, or a Chaim, it's available even to the layman. You study it, you could really be fully well-versed in halacha. As the Chofetz Chaim writes in his introduction to the third Chelek, it is impossible not to violate Shabbos on a Torah level if you don't study the laws. If you don't study the laws of Shabbos, it's impossible. He gives a number of examples, things which happen every week, and he shows Issa D'Oraisa by Shabbos. Rabbinic laws, forget about. And the same thing is true throughout Orach Chaim. In day in, now, daily things we do, brachas, whatever it may be. And because he spent 25 years writing this, authoring this, now what halacha is available. And many things he wrote. Shmiras Halosh, and people are more careful and not to say what they shouldn't say. If he wouldn't have compiled what he did there, people just don't know. And he shows in his introduction there why he authored it and why people believe it's okay, and various echelons of Klal Yisrael, Talmid Chacham, an ordinary person, this and that. But if not for that, you'd be out of touch. So again, all that is accredited to the Chofetz Chaim. Okay? Holding Mem. Page 107.
And before the Mishna Berura,
There was a Chayodom, there was a Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, but it was a small compendium. Even the Chayodom is not so simple to learn. Yeah. First, it's one opinion. Mishna Berura is a compilation, and he gives you the background, and gives you an understanding that you could grasp it. Who? Oh, Shulchan is different type, different. You see the Gemara background, but it's not the same. It's not as comprehensive. The Mishna Berura is fully comprehensive. There's nothing he doesn't touch and explain. Mem. Ora batim. Mitzvah lasos shocher. Interesting. The ritzuos, the straps, halachim, they have to be blackened. He says the batim, to blacken them, that's mitzvah lasos shocher. Ayin lekamon simila megivo. Chritz shebein bayis lebayis. Right. You have the 4 compartments. So he discussed it earlier. It's really one. Or inside they're separated, but on the outside it's really one piece of leather, and they just create a ridge in it. No, each bias is separate, and the only reason why you don't see the space between them is because they're pressed together. It's like heat seal. On Shabbos, opening a bag is not simple because you're creating a kli. Let's say you have a bag that's glued together, and you separate it. It's a question of what? Korea. Are you permitted to open an envelope on Shabbos? An envelope, which is glued closed. You're not permitted. So Mishna Berura speaks about it. We get to Hilchos Shabbos, that because if a person glues something, what are you in violation of? Tofer. It's a told of sewing. Taking 2 things, attaching them, that's tofer, that's sewing. It doesn't have to be a thread. But something that's where you have to sew minimally 2 stitches. Because anything less than 2 stitches, it's going to open up. So the same thing. So gluing something is tofer. Opening it, it's korea. It's tearing. Even though it's mekalkel the envelope, but the whole idea of korea, there's a question, because korea normally is destructive. But over here, since it has a constructive outcome, what's the constructive? Because you're able to take the letter out of the envelope. And sometimes you keep the envelope, you keep the letter and keep it in the envelope, therefore it has a constructive aspect to it. So one time, you had a bag of food, so how do you open the food? So you had to destroy the bag. You weren't permitted to open the top, because if you separate the glue, it's korea. So what did you have to do? One time you had to tear the bag. So mekalkel, just doing destructive act for ochel nefesh, for food, you're permitted to do on Shabbos. Okay? As long as you don't tear the letters. Right? Years ago, when we were kids, there was a sucking candy, it was called Charms. Charms candy, each one's a different color, if you remember. That's when Al used to suck a Tootsie Roll lollipops in those days. Okay? With his knickers. So, so they say you can open it, but make sure not to tear the letters. That's what they used to say with Charms, But today, all bags, they're heat sealed. So it's just pressed together. So if you pull it apart, there's nothing attaching them. It's just the heat because it's just, they're pressed so tightly together, so you just pull it apart, it's not a problem. You don't have to destroy the bag today.
Creating a clear?
No, you're not, because it's there. It never lost its status because it was never really sealed with glue, right? So same thing with the tefillin. Each one's a separate compartment, except when they put in the vise and they squeeze it so tightly, they're pressed together. But each one really is a separate compartment, even on the outside. Each one's separate, and that's what he says. Okay. That's chritz, that's separation. It's not if they're only separated on top, it has to go all the way down to the base of what they go to the base of it. Even if they don't go all the way down, as long as it's separated on top, it's okay. But minimally it has to be obvious from the top that they are separated. But if it's not obvious that they're separated, it's a problem. We'll see in Mishna Berura. Habatim,
Even though they're really separate.
they can be separate.
But you make them separate, but you have to be able to tell them after they're put together.
He said earlier, if you take something and insert it like a very thin blade and go down, that's called separated. Not only does the bias have to be black, the shin on the shalrosh should also be blackened. Tefillin, they get old, eventually it's like you have paint. The paint starts bubbling and it peels off. And because it's not a flat surface, it peels off more easily off the shin than off the bias. Mitzvah mashma to be the evident likuva. From the Chaber, it seems to be if you have tefillin which ultimately they start getting like a whitish look, they're kosher. And you find tefillin. Yes, somebody who still got an old pair of tefillin from the October was puzzle. The tefillin were not black. The shalrosh wasn't black any longer. The ishposkim the sfilo do haloch l'mashmisina ikamar ritzuos ulikuvahu afil b'di'evet. The batim have to be blackened, no less than the straps. The straps, everybody agrees. The Gemara says haloch l'mashmisina. If they're not black, they're not valid. But others hold that the bias is no different than the strap. The batim, so therefore it's a sofik d'oraisa. Ubiyor agro mashu shu b'tzadikein la'alocha. The Vilna Gaon takes on the position that it's ma'akiv. So if the black lightens and it's no longer black, it's possible. Therefore, the Chofetz Chaim says it should be machmir.
Is that the origin of the film being black on both sides?
No, the strap.
The strap.
Nobody holds it has to be black on both sides. That's chumrah of a chumrah of a chumrah. One side is enough. You don't have to spend the extra $75 to get it black on both sides. They market tchelis. You don't have to wear tchelis, it's okay. Okay? Like somebody once told me in the name of Reb Herschel Schechter, that if you don't wear tchelis on your tzitzis, you're in violation of mitzvahs aseh tzitzis. Yeah? Of course he didn't say it. I said, you mean to say Herschel Schechter says that Rebbe Yoshev is in violation because he's not wearing kosher tzitzis? Do you think you want me to believe that? There's no way he said this. Rabbi Schechter never said that. Understand? Okay? But tefillin have to be blackened. Both sides on the Ritzvah, definitely not just one side, the outer side. He says, but let's say you can't locate a pair of tefillin. It's a question of not wearing tefillin, and this happened, in Europe. People would travel. In the old days, if you travel somewhere, you had to actually wade through a river. The tefillin got wet. So what happens? Or whatever it is, or exposed to the elements, the paint actually. So therefore, if you have no choice not to be involved with this tefillin, you should put on those tefillin. Shochar v'ashachar tov yoseh sheyeh b'tzeva shochar shem bo mamish klau. Meaning, you're not putting on a coating of paint. It's just a color. Let's say a person puts on like a thick, like it's like a layer, like an enamel. You put an enamel on the tefillin. So there, it's not absorbing; it's actually coating the tefillin. It should be in color. It should not be like a covering on the tefillin. That tefillin yushchor rak bechazusa ba'alma chomoko hameshchinim b'min glantz. They put on glantz is like a shellac. A person has a glantz. What does he say here? Okay. Shine. she'efshel lekolfo kepo afal pi shechol lehosir min haklaf al yidei pirurin dakim. He says although you could sand it off, ein lahach b'devad, you could leave it. You could leave the shlak, the shiny ayin. B'mashik sav misif memches bi'arlocha b'shem aprimagor sh'dait gam b'yidei ein lahach b'zeh. Chem asher chichu sofer is manenu. Hear this? He's the sofer. They came up with a new innovation. Shemashchirim b'tichot shol liklo b'shleimus mikol tzad. It's actually, and this they just had a thing just now in China. They produced ritzuos where they had the ritzua, and they took vinyl, and they heat pressed the vinyl onto the leather strap, so the strap is not blackened. It's like literally, it's you peel it off and you paste it on, and it was heat sealed. It's possible, not even the question. He says they came up with that, but it's a ticha with the black they put on. You could actually peel off the whole layer off the tefillin, so it's not even absorbed. It's a separate piece, like paste it onto the tefillin, the black. Kol tzad min hatefillin tzuros kamo nir shocher. It's like a black thin piece of sheet of paper. Ze posel, ze nishvas odam v'hiskim ze agom beis meir lo Yehuda einsham. Simen lamed gimel. Sivdal b'hago v'ayinsham Mishna Berura Ramo kozel l'shitas ha'mechaber hochad hu rak mitzvah b'alma, blackening the shalosh fimash kosavnu bos kufeidal yishlayim boseh v'ushiyeh. It says the chrit should reach the bottom of the bayis. Aval imenu nikor mibachutz af shebifnim yishdal bat ko parsha munachas b'bayis b'nei atzma lo man. It's not valid. Right? Let's say a person with inside the separate compartments, and he put a piece of leather and he encircled it. So on the outside it looks like one bayis, and the inside there are 4 compartments. It's not valid. Nika b'achritz, he says the ridge should be noticeable. Aval srito rishim ba'alma domani. Let's say you scratch it, make an indentation, but it doesn't go all the way through. It's nothing. It means nothing. It has to be separated to some degree. He rejected what the sofrim do. Hear what they do. They paste the batim that they should stay together, and then they put on this coating on the outside. And once they put this shellac on the outside, when you shellac it, you can't see the ridges. And they go and then they make a cut in the shellac that it looks like 4. So it's really artificial. It's artificial. Should go all the way down to the bottom. Or al dalabatim. Roshman bocharitzin besak shenira karbo batim deposul. So when they put like an outer piece of leather and they just score it, that it's artificial. By putting it on, even though inside you have 4 compartments, no different than tefillin shel yad, it's considered one bias, and it's possible to be continued.